Every 39 seconds, someone, somewhere in the world is being targeted by a cybercriminal. From individuals having their personal data stolen to large corporations losing millions in a matter of minutes, the effects of cybercrime are far-reaching and devastating. But who are these criminals? What drives them to infiltrate and manipulate complex systems? And what makes them feel invincible enough to carry out these attacks? In this video, we'll delve into the minds of cybercriminals, those who hide behind screens, pulling the strings in the digital world. We'll take a look at their psychological makeup, their personal motivations, and the way their actions have impacted millions of people around the globe. We'll examine real-life cases of some of the most notorious cybercriminals, breaking down their strategies and uncovering the driving force behind their actions. Along the way, we'll explore the psychological traits that make these criminals tick and attempt to answer the age-old question, why do they do it? But before we dive all in, let us first take a look at the rise of cybercrime. It all started in the 1980s, when the first computer hackers were more like digital explorers, curious individuals testing the limits of early computer networks. In those days, hacking was often about pride and bragging rights, a way to prove one's skill in the digital world. But over the years, as the internet exploded in the 1990s, hacking turned from harmless pranks into something far more dangerous. By the mid-2000s, cybercrime had evolved from solitary hackers to sophisticated organized networks, targeting businesses and governments on an industrial scale. What began as harmless hacking has now become a multi-billion-dollar industry, with cybercriminals operating globally, making millions by exploiting systems and stealing data. Cybercrime isn't just about hacking. It encompasses a wide range of illegal activities that threaten individuals and organizations alike. From phishing scams where criminals impersonate trusted entities to steal personal information, to the theft of credit card data used for fraudulent purchases. Then there's ransomware, malicious software that locks you out of your own files and demands a ransom payment for their release. These attacks can paralyze entire companies, bringing operations to a halt and demanding hefty sums to regain control. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. From data breaches to identity theft, cybercriminals are behind many of the most dangerous forms of online crime, impacting millions of people and organizations around the world. But what drives these criminals? Why do they risk everything for a crime that seems so digital and detached from reality? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the psychology of cybercriminals and uncover what motivates them to commit these high-stakes crimes. So who are cybercriminals? Cybercriminals don't always fit the stereotype we expect. They're not all tech geniuses in dark rooms or shadowy figures lurking in basements. In fact, many of them are ordinary people, living among us in plain sight. They could be your next-door neighbor, your coworker, or even a seemingly friendly person at a coffee shop. What makes them different? It's not about looks, it's about their actions and their mindset. These are people who exploit the digital world to manipulate, steal, and harm others, all while maintaining an outwardly normal facade. Many cybercriminals share key psychological traits such as narcissism and antisocial behavior. They thrive on control, dominance, and a sense of superiority over their victims. Others are simply in it for the thrill, a rush of power that comes from exploiting a system or manipulating people from behind a screen. But what could the real motivations? Why do they do it? For some, it's all about the money. The financial gain from hacking, stealing credit card information, or holding data for ransom can be astronomical. With just a few keystrokes, a cybercriminal can amass fortunes in stolen data or cryptocurrency. For others, the motivation is more personal. Revenge or political motives push people to hack into systems and leak sensitive information. Hacktivists, people who hack for political activism, believe they are fighting for a cause, even if it means breaking the law. And then, there are those who do it simply for the thrill, the adrenaline rush of bypassing security systems, the excitement of being able to breach a seemingly impenetrable defense. For them, it's not about the money, and it's not about a cause. It's about the game, the challenge, the power they feel behind the screen. So what pushes them to risk everything? Why take these risks? We'll explore their deeper psychological traits next, to understand why someone would throw their life away for a few moments of digital triumph. The psychological traits. Many cybercriminals display signs of narcissism, a grandiose sense of their own importance, and a belief that the rules don't apply to them. They see themselves as smarter, more capable than the people they exploit. This sense of superiority makes them feel justified in breaking the law, as they believe they are above the consequences. Another key trait is antisocial behavior, a lack of empathy for others. Many cybercriminals feel no remorse for their actions, which is what allows them to target innocent people or businesses without hesitation. They view their victims not as real people, but as faceless obstacles to their goals. Perhaps the most dangerous trait, however, is the mask they wear. On the outside, they appear normal, blending in with society and hiding their true intentions. But underneath, they're driven by motivations that others can't always see, making them incredibly difficult to identify and even harder to stop. The mask of normalcy is part of their digital disguise, keeping their true nature hidden, often until it's too late. Now, let's take a deep dive into famous real-life cybercriminals. Case Study 1. Albert Gonzalez. Albert Gonzalez, one of the most notorious cybercriminals in history, didn't just hack for fun. He stole millions of credit card numbers, compromising the personal information of millions worldwide. Gonzalez infiltrated the networks of major retailers such as TJ Maxx, Heartland Payment Systems, and others, pulling off a heist of epic proportions. Over several years, Gonzalez's operation became one of the largest and most lucrative credit card fraud schemes in history, amassing an estimated $200 million in stolen card data. But his sophisticated methods weren't enough to keep him hidden forever. In 2008, Gonzalez was arrested, and his massive digital empire came crashing down. The FBI tracked him down after a detailed investigation, which uncovered his use of hacking tools, server farms, and an extensive network of criminals working under his direction. Gonzalez's arrest marked a turning point in the fight against cybercrime. It became clear that no matter how sophisticated the criminals became, they could still be caught. His case also served as a reminder of the vulnerability of credit card information and the importance of digital security in the modern world. Case Study 2. The WannaCry ransomware attack. In May 2017, the world watched in horror as the WannaCry ransomware attack spread like wildfire. In a matter of hours, over 230,000 computers across 150 countries were infected, locking systems in hospitals, businesses, and even government offices. WannaCry was particularly devastating for the UK's National Health Service, NHS, which was forced to cancel thousands of appointments and surgeries. Critical data and services were held hostage by a digital ransom note, demanding payment in Bitcoin. The attack paralyzed entire systems, costing billions in damages and lost productivity. The origins of WannaCry were linked to a hacking group known as the Lazarus Group, believed to be associated with North Korea. The attack was made possible by a leaked NSA tool, Eternal Blue, which exploited vulnerabilities in Microsoft Windows. WannaCry's impact served as a wake-up call for organizations and governments across the world, highlighting the importance of regular system updates and strong cybersecurity measures. Despite efforts to prevent future attacks, WannaCry continues to be a chilling reminder of the global threat posed by ransomware. Case Study 3. Anonymous. Anonymous is not just another cybercriminal group. It's a movement. Known for their signature Guy Fawkes masks, Anonymous is a decentralized collective of hackers, activists, and digital warriors, united by a belief in fighting for justice, often through illegal means. Founded in the mid-2000s, Anonymous has launched numerous cyber attacks aimed at government institutions, corporations, and even religious organizations, all in the name of activism. Their targets range from the Church of Scientology to oppressive governments, exposing corruption and abuses of power. But while their motives may seem noble to some, their methods remain highly controversial. Anonymous's attacks have ranged from DDoS, distributed denial of service attacks, which overwhelm servers to the point of collapse, to high-profile data breaches that exposed sensitive information. Their message? They believe in freedom of information and fighting against censorship, but their actions often lead to unintended consequences. Cybercriminal or digital hero? The line is blurred when it comes to anonymous. While some may view anonymous as champions of the oppressed, others see them as dangerous digital anarchists. Their legacy? A radical form of activism that relies on hacking as a means of protest, redefining the very idea of cybercrime. Next, let us now examine the psychology of cybercrime, the mindset of cybercriminals. 1. Psychological factors. In the vast, often impersonal world of the internet, a sense of anonymity becomes a powerful tool. The digital space allows cybercriminals to hide behind screens, their identities masked by layers of code and encryption. This creates a feeling of invulnerability, as if they are untouchable, free from the judgment or consequences of their actions. This anonymity often makes it easier for cybercriminals to justify their actions. The lack of face-to-face interaction, the absence of immediate emotional reactions from their victims, creates a false sense of distance. The consequences of their crime feel abstract, distant, and therefore not as impactful. For many, this anonymity isn't just a tool, it's a shield allowing them to act with impunity. It gives them the freedom to exploit weaknesses without fearing the repercussions that would accompany such actions in the physical world. 2. Addiction to digital power. For some cybercriminals, the act of hacking or exploiting systems is about more than just money. It's about the power they feel from controlling vast digital networks. The more successful their attacks, the larger their reach grows. And with each new success, they're driven further by the allure of control. This rush of power is addictive. The feeling of controlling critical systems, of having the ability to alter or disrupt someone's entire life with just a few clicks. This becomes a driving force. It feeds their ego and satisfies a deep-seated desire for dominance, which makes it harder to stop. As their digital empire grows, so does their addiction to the power it brings. It's a cycle. Each success reinforces their belief in their own invincibility, and each new conquest brings a rush of satisfaction, pushing them to go even further. 3. Thrill-seeking and sociopathy. But for some cybercriminals, it's not about the money or the power, it's about the thrill. The rush of outsmarting a system, the excitement of breaching an impenetrable defense, and the exhilaration that comes from causing disruption and chaos. These individuals are often thrill-seekers with little regard for the damage they cause. There's no empathy for the victims they harm, no boundaries to the risks they're willing to take. They're driven by a need to challenge the system, to break the rules, and to prove they can do what others think is impossible. This detachment from empathy is often linked to sociopathic tendencies, a disregard for the well-being of others. For these individuals, their actions are not viewed as criminal, but as part of a game or challenge. There is no moral compass guiding them, and they experience no guilt from the harm they inflict. For these cybercriminals, the thrill is the reward. The risks are high, but so is the rush of feeling untouchable, like a ghost in the machine. Their actions are driven by a need for excitement and validation, with little care for the lives they disrupt in the process. Moving on, let us now see how cybercriminals get caught. Cybercriminals may think they've covered their tracks, but every action they take leaves behind a trace. From digital footprints, IP addresses, and encryption keys, to more subtle digital fingerprints, no online crime is truly without a trace. These digital traces allow investigators to track the movements of cybercriminals across the vastness of the internet. Using forensic analysis, experts can break down complex layers of encryption and expose the identities of those responsible. Cyber investigations are about connecting the dots. Every action, every interaction, every breach is part of a larger puzzle. When experts combine intelligence, data analysis, and cutting-edge tools, the pieces fall into place, revealing the criminals behind the screens. Despite their best efforts to remain hidden, cybercriminals are eventually caught. Thanks to international cooperation between law enforcement agencies and advanced technologies, these criminals are brought to justice. The rise of cybersecurity experts, global collaborations, and high-tech surveillance tools has made it harder for these criminals to escape, and in the end, the law always finds a way to catch up with them. Cybercrime isn't just a crime against systems, it's a crime against people. These crimes impact millions of lives, and understanding the motives behind them helps us protect ourselves in this increasingly digital world. If you found this insight into the minds of cybercriminals fascinating, like, share, and subscribe for more. Don't miss out on future content that helps you stay informed and protected. The digital world is vast, and so are the threats. Stay vigilant, stay informed.